Ford Field in downtown Detroit. Welcome to the best weekend of the year for high school football fans in our great state every single year. We start with Division 8. Beal City back. They are regulars here at Ford Field, and they are taking on a program trying to make a little history. Off the bus, through the snowflakes, and inside the warm and friendly confines of Ford Field. Riverview Gabriel Richard going for their first ever state championship. The MHSAA Football Finals, as always, presented by our friends at the Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers. Inside the home of the Lions, fresh off that dramatic win yesterday. We have more dramatics in store all weekend long. With former Michigan quarterback John Wengler and Carol Lyles on the sidelines. Evan Stockton with you. John, for all of us, the opportunity to cover this event year after year, it is an absolute treat.
Oh, it's an honor. You know, these kids work their whole career to get here. They're one of 16 teams, right? And to be here is what's the culmination, and it's the greatest weekend of high school football in our state.
And Gabriel Richard is one of those teams that is high school football personified. These guys have been playing sports together from basically the time they were in diapers. Basketball now to football, they are primed to make a little history.
Well, Coach Shea didn't get the job until June. He knew nothing really about the players, but he quickly saw that these guys were a player-driven team. His best players, the Sobush twins, Joey Calhoun, they were his hardest workers. They stayed after practice, after doubles, and they really led this team. It was a player-driven team, and what they did, they tapered throughout the season with their recovery because they were aiming to get back to Ford Field, and that's exactly what they did.
Speaking of getting back to Ford Field, Beal City's back again. You talk about culture. A lot of people in the know did not think they'd be back, but they are picking off great teams left and right in the playoffs.
Well, for them to upset Fowler, the number one ranked team in Division 8 the whole year, I mean, that really said it all. They had two big wins at the end. These guys are all about culture. And these kids, when they grow up in Beal City, they dream of putting that uniform on and playing for Beal City. That's what it's all about. That's their strength, and they lean on that tradition.
And there is one specific last name for Beal City that you are going to learn and hear a lot today. For more on that, down we go to Kara.
Yeah, guys, well, in the size of the city of Beal City, you know what, it's not necessarily unheard of to hear some names that you might not have heard before, but in this family they have so many special names. It starts off with Coach Brad Gross. Now, he is the head coach, and he actually has two sons on this team, both Drew and Ryan. Now, if you look on the other side of things, Coach Colin Gross actually was just brought up from the JV team. And then if you look at the assistant coaching side, Charlie Gross is actually the assistant coach of head coach Brad Gross. Now, Charlie's two kids, Cam and Kellen, also serving as team managers here today. But I was able to ask Coach Gross, just what is it like being able to work so closely with your coaches and teammates each and every day? And he said, to be able to do what I love, to coach what I love each and every day to the people that I love, that's truly what makes it so special. But safe to say, it's a whole family affair on that Beal City sideline here today, guys.
Yeah, and Kara, if we forget a last name for Beal City today, I'm just going to say Gross, because there's like a 40% one of them is a Gross. You know what I mean?
There you go, right?
Awesome stuff. You know, John, what I do wonder, right? You've got Beal City, who's been here year after year, and Riverview Gabriel Richard, who is here for the first time ever. Are there any nerves on that Gabriel Richard side, you think?
Well, they're a veteran team, and their best players, they've been to some big high-profile events, right? They've, you know, as we mentioned last year, they were in the semis. They lost in basketball and football. So they've been on the big stage, and I think these guys are more on a revenge tour to get back and finally close the deal. That's really what I think it's all about for them.
This is what we live for as high school football fans in Michigan. Matchups like this for a Division 8 state championship. Beal City's here almost every year. Gabriel Richard wants history. We kick off Division 8 next. You know, some at this time of the morning would need caffeine to wake up. We just need a little high school football. We are thrilled to be here for the first game out of 8 this weekend as part of the MHSAA Football Finals. Beal City is here nearly every year. We just heard from Kara about this remarkable tradition that Brad Gross has continued, John, for the Beal City Aggies. And when you talk to him and hear him talk about it, this program, this town means so much to him.
to be here, right? Their program is built to be here. That's what they work for all year. They're accustomed to it. There's so many family ties. It's just built in their DNA. And as I mentioned in the opening, those kids dream about putting on that uniform.
And you just talked about Coach Shea for Riverview Gabriel Richard. I thought it was remarkable what he told us about, hey, I get the job late. I didn't really know a whole lot about the team, but he could sense right away, this is a player-driven bunch. I just got to get out of the way and let them do their thing.
Yeah, well, and he's a veteran coach, so he's been around, and he really knew nothing, and he mentioned that he did not take the job based on the players coming back. He knew nothing about him. And when he saw what he had, he realized he had something special.
Hoping for a little history today. Gabriel Richard trying to win their first ever state championship. A group that's been playing sports together since they were little. In teams and towns like this, you dream of this exact moment your whole life. And they're living out a dream at Ford Field on a Friday morning right after Thanksgiving. Kyle Martin to kick it deep for Beal City. They are in the white. To Riverview Gabriel Richard in the dark maroon. Derek Lesko back deep. Off we go in the best weekend of the year for high school football in Michigan. This is caught by one of the up men for Riverview Gabriel Richard, trying to spring a big return on the first play of the ball game. That is the freshman Ben Stroke, who also does the kicking, and Beal City handles that well. John, you were alluding in the open to Nick Sobush, the quarterback. His twin brother Antonio may be his best wide receiver, but what do we need to know about this senior quarterback?
Well, we need to know one thing, that he is like a coach on the field. He's always studying film. He's very heady. He puts in the time. He's a film junkie. He makes suggestions about the plays, what they should do the upcoming week. Coach is so confident in him, he lets him automatic. He's got free reign. He's a great leader.
He'll give the ball a lot to this guy, Joey Calhoun, who on the first play of the state title game busts a big one for Gabriel Richard. Owen McKinney had to make a tackle, otherwise he may still be running.
Well, when you see a guy, he's going, from a Division VIII kid going to a Division I college, that says a lot. And Calhoun, one of the hardest workers, great human being. He is the heart and soul of that team.
Joey's going to Air Force next year. Heard that's a decent place to get a degree. Joey on the run again. Early on, you can tell they are trying to lean on that size and wear Beal City down early on.
Well, they're a very versatile team, and we talked about it a little bit. They're very balanced. They can throw the football. Sometimes in Division VIII, you don't see a very prolific passing game, but Gabriel Richard has a very prolific passing game. They're very balanced, and that's one of the things Coach Shea stressed, that they're able to do, take away one, and we're going to hit you with the other.
This offensive line for Gabriel Richard does a great job, too. They only start 2 seniors, a rarity at the high school level. Sobush to throw for the first time today, and he's got Lesko tiptoeing the sidelines. That's a touchdown. Riverview Gabriel Richard going for a state championship. I think they'll like that start.
Well, it didn't take long. This was a simple go route. He looked off the defenders, froze the safety, threw a perfect strike down the sideline to Lesko, and Lesko just ran by that corner. The good thing that Sobush did is he gave a lot of air in the ball and let Lesko run underneath it. He didn't throw it on the line. He let Lesko use his speed, throw it over top of the corner, and just run under it. And next thing you know, it's a touchdown.
Gabriel Richard going to go for 2. Their kicker earlier on in the year got hurt. Ben Stroke, the freshman kicker, does a good job, but they'll go for 2 here. Give Calhoun in for 2. And that was a dream start for Riverview Gabriel Richard. A 52-yard touchdown strike, Sobush to Lesko, and then Calhoun in untouched for 2.
Doesn't get much easier than that. Someone's got to force them inside. But what a start here for Gabriel Richard.
And now that culture for Beal City we were talking about, they're probably going to have to lean on it, because this Gabriel Richard team, to use a boxing analogy, that is a quite the first punch in the first round.
Well, they set the tempo right there, Evan. And Coach mentioned, he said, hey, you guys better be ready. This could be a track meet up and down the field because both teams are prolific offenses. And obviously coming out of the chute, that was exactly the way that Gabriel Richard wanted to start.
Beal City not too far from Mount Pleasant, about 70 miles as well, northwest of Saginaw. Here for the 10th time ever. Former governor is from Beal City. School enrollment of just over 200. Sobush getting a breather on the sidelines. At the Division 8 level, you don't get much of a breather sometimes. It's a pop-up kick, and Beal City's got to return with Gatrill, who's got some room on that left side. Nice little bounce back for Beal City. Great starting field position.
Now that's the way you want to start, other side of the 50.
Kyler Smith, the sophomore quarterback. This is a Beal City program that likes to have someone a little bit older behind the controls, but Kyler knows the situation very, very well. On their state championship baseball team last year, he was the starting second baseman as a freshman, and he's just taken that confidence into this season in football.
Well, he's a great athlete. He's done a tremendous job for a freshman. Completed over 60% of his passes, over 1,000 yards, and done a nice job quarterbacking that offense.
He gives on a sweep to McKinney on the first Beal City offensive play of the game. That is their go-to play, and it's already a first down for Beal City.
Well, we're going to be calling McKinney's name a lot today. He's done a nice job. He averages over 10 yards a carry, and they have a very balanced offense as well. They can go inside or outside.
We were talking about the offensive line for Gabriel Richard being young with only the 2 senior starters. Beal City's O-line has 3 senior starters, but at the guard spots they have 2 sophomores. So let's keep an eye on that. Another jet sweep, this time to the left. Small slipped 1 tackle, and multiple flags coming in. It's a gain of 3 if it stands, John, but I'm not quite sure it's going to stand.
Below the waist, defense.
Here it is. You can see coming on that sweep, it came up and hit below the waist, trying to prevent injuries.
That was Vigors with that low block. Why is it important, John, to get that specific play out of high school football?
Well, because there's way too many injuries. When you start going low like that, they're doing everything they can to protect the game, and that's one of the rules that they've changed here, which is a great change.
With the penalty, by the way, Beal City, blink your eyes, is inside the 30. More room up the middle. That's Drew Block, who had a big run in their regional final win over Iron Mountain. This one just outside the 20-yard line.
Well, you're going to see motion on almost every play, and what they're trying to do is make Gabriel Richard adjust their defense or standardize it, or so it's easier to read. They base everything out of that motion. They have multiple sets. We saw 1 jet sweep. That's really their bread and butter play, is that jet sweep, and they do a lot of things off that jet sweep.
There's that sweep again. Small left side, slipped a tackle. Nice little stiff arm from Austin Small to keep the chains moving. First down, Beal City. It's got to be hard for Gabriel Richard's defense, John, to deal with all the various motion, right? In that jet sweep, they can pop a little one up the middle, then go left or right. There's a lot of things moving for Beal City.
Well, Gabriel Richard has to be very disciplined. They're linebackers. They got to read their keys. You cannot be freelancing against these guys because they have a lot of ways to pick you apart.
Sweep to the right. McKinney cuts it up. Oh, he's reaching for the goal line. He's just shy. Oh, and almost got another touchdown. The quarterback on the other side, Nick Sobush, saves the touchdown.
Great stiff arm there by McKinney. He's a big back here, trying to make it in the end zone. I think he's just a couple yards short. Great effort.
Beal City, though, in prime position. First and goal inside the 1. Looked like trouble with the snap. That's a heady play by Smith, just to fall on that thing as Joey Calhoun wrapped him up.
Very, very heady. Looks like it was a little low. And, you know, that center's trying to block. He's trying to reach block to his right, which is tough. And give Kyler a great effort there to save that, not get a fumble inside the 5.
Remember how we were talking about he's a sophomore who acts older? That's a senior level play.
It really was.
Backed him up about 1.5 yards, second down goal. Turn and give. That's a Beal City touchdown. Drew block into the end zone. They have answered right back.
Great blocking up front there, giving block an opportunity to come right into the end zone. With that motion, these linebackers are pulling them out, and the guards and centers are blocking down and getting good angles on those defensive linemen to create some space.
Beal City will kick the PAT. This is Kyle Martin, who's missed 1 all year. That could be a very big flag if they back up Beal City. And if it's on Gabriel Richard, maybe Beal City thinks about going for 2 after all.
It looks like that might be the case, Evan.
So, if it's on Gabriel Richard, first let's get the call.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, half the distance.
Do you go for it now if you're Beal City?
Yes.
Why?
I think confidence level, you're talking about really like a yard now, 1.5 yards. I think, and those guys went for 2, right? So let's keep pace.
They're going to go for it. Smith under center, pitch right, misses McKinney, and a tie game.
The old toss sweep, nothing fancy. This has been tried and true for a long time. You pull the guard, get in front, great blocking.
We got a ball game in the Division 8 state championship. They're going back and forth on a Friday morning.
Welcome back to Ford Field. We are knotted up at 8 early in the first quarter. Well, we've got some family ties on this Gabriel Richard sideline as well. Nick and Antonio Sobush are actually twins, you guys. Nick, of course, getting snaps in at that quarterback position, and Antonio has served as one of his key targets all season long. But when you have brothers on a team, let alone twins, the question always arises, well, do they fight? And when talking with Coach Shea earlier this week, he said, of course they bicker, but that's never too bad. He said they're always, you can just tell by the way that they play that they are brothers. There's some sort of unspoken connection that they have, but really those two have worked together all season long to get here, to be able to experience this moment together at Ford Field, guys.
Already one of those Sobush twins, Kara. Nick has thrown for a long touchdown. He found Derek Lesko on a 52-yard strike earlier in this first quarter, but Beal City had the answer. Went right down, scored, got the 2-point conversion. These coaching staffs told us before the game, I think there could be a lot of points. So make sure you get that coffee and get ready on a Friday morning. And they weren't lying to us. That's exactly what we're getting so far.
It's a way to kick off this great 2-day stretch with some explosive offenses.
Kyle Martin's kick, once again fielded by one of the Gabriel Richard upmen, and they get across the 30-yard line. Nice tackle by Zucker on special teams for Beal City. I mean, that first drive, John, for Gabriel Richard, bing, bang, boom, up down the field in 4 plays. So what's the counter for Beal City defensively?
Well, they're going to have to make some adjustments. We only saw, 3 plays.
Yep.
So, obviously the corners are going to have to give them a little space. I think they're going to have to force those guys to run inside. There's a lot of team speed on that Gabriel Richard. That's their strength, both on the line and in the back. So you got to keep them inside if you can. You can't let them get outside, get to the edge.
Give Calhoun, not a ton. Stonewalled after a gain of 1, maybe 2. Check it, that was Aiden Balaka on the carry, and unfortunately, Aiden is slow to get up.
This was just a straight dive, pretty basic football. He may have got tangled up inside the pile there.
5'11" senior, Aiden a returner from last year's team. Also plays some baseball for Gabriel Richard. You know, this is obviously the last thing you want to see in a state championship game, and also with teams at the Division 8 level, with the numbers just being lower, that also can hurt you in terms of the numbers and so forth. Coming up after this Division 8 state championship, we have an outstanding matchup in Division 4. Someone's going to win a state championship for the first time ever. The Vikings of Niles against the Martians of Goodrich. Kickoff scheduled for right around 12:30. That should be an outstanding game. You know, Niles last week beat Grand Rapids South Christian, and Goodrich beat Harper Woods. That was slated to be a rematch of last year's Division 4 state championship until Niles and Goodrich wrecked all those plans.
That's why they play the games, right?
And that should be an outstanding matchup. Two teams that love to run the ball. Niles runs a flex bone offense where you never quite know where it's going. Sobush to throw. Given time. Uncorking it down the field and incomplete. Open for Lesko again. Zucker had the coverage. And now for the first time today, Gabriel Richard facing third down long.
That time, Zucker was giving Lesko plenty of space. So I think they're definitely making some adjustments.
What would you call here if you're that Gabriel Richard coaching staff?
Well, based on their tendencies, I think they're going to throw the ball. I think they're going to throw the ball over the middle, and maybe even if they get a crossing route, I think would be good, apropos at this time. Coach Shea's been around, so he's coached in the Catholic League. He's coached at Hazel Park. He's a veteran, so it's not his first rodeo.
He also just realized that play clock was running down, and he had to burn his first timeout. You brought up Coach Say and the opportunity to take this job with Gabriel Richard, which, by the way, is not too terribly far from Ford Field. I wouldn't recommend walking on this very cold and snowy morning here in Detroit, but it's a very short drive for those guys in burgundy, maroon, and white. As for Beal City, up from Mount Pleasant, just outside of that beautiful area of Michigan. This is part of the fun, right, of the high school football and basketball state championship weekends. You've got everyone from various corners of the state all converging in one place. And it's a nice reminder that we live in a very big state, you know?
We do. I mean, when they start coming down from the UP, and I mean, Michigan's a great football state, and just to see the following from some of these small towns, right, when they come down, and you know, some of the schools here in the Metro Detroit, it's great. That's what's the beautiful thing about high school football.
Out of the timeout, Gabriel Richard still has this 3rd down 8. First third down of the morning. Sobush to throw again. Fastball. That is caught. And that is darn close to a Gabriel Richard first down. Stroke made the catch. Block made the tackle. But based on that spot, that's a first down.
They had twins to both sides, and this was just a little outcut. Very safe route. The ball was delivered on time, and going to be close here. It looks like they did get the first down.
I mean, the way Sobush stands in that pocket and rips it, there's some velocity on that thing.
Well, he's a confident guy. You could tell. Good athlete, not afraid, and just he oozes confidence.
Give, and a tough break. Calhoun, the turf monster, got him, and that puts Gabriel Richard behind the chains.
Sometimes those turf worms jump out and get you every now and then.
I like to think of the turf monster as Halloween, you know, where there's like a dismembered hand that reaches through the ground. That's the turf monster.
Out of the fog?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Give again. No turf monster problems here. Calhoun plows ahead across the 45-yard line. Eric Elias makes the tackle. And again, Gabriel Richard has a 3rd down and long.
Yeah, I don't think that phases them that much, Evan, honestly. These guys, you could just tell. They're poised. They're acting like they've been here before, even though they haven't been, you know.
They went to the freshman receiver Stroke on 3rd down and 8 a couple of plays ago. Where do they go on this 3rd down and 7? Sobush on the run. He does not get it. Strong tackle by Wyatt Wilson in the open field. I think they're about to go for it, 4th down.
Yeah, I think they may. This was just a quarterback draw. They split both receivers. The 2 guards blocked out. The center blocked the middle linebacker. And they tried to just get Sobush up the middle.
So they gained about 3 or 4. There's another football coach who spends a lot of time in here who often on 3rd down will run the ball to try to get closer for 4th down. That may have been the thought process here.
Well, you know it's math. The odds of 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th. It's amazing. You go 4th and 1, 4th and 2, the high percentage that you'll pick it up.
Sobush on 4th down. Given time, floating it down the sideline. It is picked. They were going back for Lesko, but Drew Block said not that time.
Block was not fooled. What they had done, they set up 3 receivers to the wide side of the field, and they tried to isolate Lesko on Block again, and he was not going to be fooled. He needed to put that ball up the air a little bit higher, give him a little more room to run underneath it, but it was great coverage and a nice break and huge stop.
Positive for Gabriel Richard here is you do still flip the field. It's kind of like a punt with that long pass on 4th down.
Yeah.
But a huge momentum boost, no doubt, for that Beal City defense.
Yeah, no, it was a good call on both sides, and you got a long field.
Beal City had great starting field position on the last drive, started right around midfield, scored very quickly. Smith gives. Run up the middle. Drew Block, who just had that pick, spinning his way up to the 20-yard line. Beal City's getting a nice push up through the middle so far.
Well, they are, and on that particular play, it looks like Gabriel Richard's starting to move some more guys up into the box because those guys have been, gashing them pretty good rushing, and they're going to need to maybe get a defensive back or safety into the run game.
Beal City has not attempted a pass yet. Smith has attempted nearly 100 passes this year, so them throwing is not abnormal. They'll pitch it to the left and Block. Drew outside, slowed up by Lesko, and then he kept the feet driving. What a run for Drew Block, who's playing his last ever high school game.
He's playing it well, too. This was just a toss sweep. You're going to pull. Here you go. You're pulling the front side guard, makes a nice kick out block, and great sideline to sideline tackling by Richard, but what an effort by Block to pick up those yards.
I mean, that's one of those runs where you're thinking, okay, he's going to go down. No, now he's going to go down. Oh, my goodness, he never went down.
Well, individual effort, that's what separates the great ones.
McKinney on the sweep to the right. Cutting it up with room. That's where he wants to live. Hung on through a tough tackle. Big time run for Owen McKinney. And Beal City is moving again.
Here you are. You're pulling both guards on this. They get those guys up in front, and McKinney just follows the big fellas. Great speed on that offensive line. Those guys are really good at pulling and trapping, and as you can see, they both get out there in front of the running back. They bring them in motion, and that's the bread and butter of that offense.
And that is something that Gabriel Richard's coaching staff mentioned to us. The thing that concerns us about Beal City is their speed. Their line's not big, but they're fast.
They're very fast.
Up the middle again. Kenny going up the middle for the first time, and another good gain up to the 48-yard line. Gabriel Richard tackle for Emmylou. The junior, Anthony, plugging up the middle. Boosby was in there as well.
One of the strengths, too, of that Beal City offense is when you can just grind a team, right? And you take time off the clock and then you make that prolific offense of Gabriel Richard on the sidelines. I mean, that's probably the best defense you could have.
Time of possession battle is in favor of Beal City so far in the first quarter. Misdirection handoff, and Gabriel Richard was ready. They fed Austin Small, but Boosby was ready. And now we see what Beal City has in the playbook on third down and a little longer.
Right. Boosby, and this is just assignment football, did a great job. He was not fooled. Those counters can be tricky, but they did a good job. Obviously, they've watched a ton of film this week.
For the first time today, Smith in the shotgun in what could be a passing scenario. They'll keep it on the ground with Zucker. Got a big block. First down and more, Garrison Zucker. Beal City converts. Vigors and Sobush combining on the tackle.
Watch this pull here. Here we go. Got the big fellas getting out there on the edge. That's, as you mentioned, that's what they were afraid of. If those guys can continue to attack the edge and get their guards out there pulling and get people in front of them, they got great backs who can make people miss in space.
Yeah, the big block there was Reese Hooks, the junior, 62, who just got enough to spring that big run.
Well, you can see the athleticism when they can get out there. Those guards can get out there and block those defensive backs. That's showing something right there.
Play clock running down, and now Beal City got to burn a timeout. That is their first. The Aggies are here year after year after year, and Beal City starting to get comfortable in Ford Field. They're on the move again. Beal City on the march. Big time third down run. Kept this drive alive for Garrison Zucker. They go back to Garrison. Slipped a tackle. Zucker into the open field. Oh, there's multiple flags coming in. Sobush and Stroke combined on the tackle as Beal City continues to get into the second level.
These guys are doing a great job with the misdirection, and they got, as we said earlier, the motion. And then when you get it, he gets in the secondary, those guys are tough to bring down. There's some big backs. It looks like we got a face mask.
Half the distance to the goal results in a first down.
That's Sobush, who's the starting quarterback. That's been a couple of costly personal foul penalties on the Gabriel Richard defense so far.
Yeah, those things come back to bite you 100%, especially in big games like this. They can ill afford to make mistakes like that against Beal City.
So this will be first down and goal as they have spotted the football just inside the 10. Turn, give to block up the middle. That is one of their bellwether plays. They ran that exact same play for a 50-plus yard touchdown against Iron Mountain to win the game. Busby made the tackle that time.
Well, they're getting some good push, as you mentioned, Evan. That offensive line, not only are they getting to the edge, but they're also doing some damage inside there.
Kyler Smith coming back to the huddle. Starting second baseman on that great baseball team at Beal City last year. His dad, Rick, played baseball at Central Michigan, got picked by the Brewers. Right now, Smith's the quarterback who is leading a very impressive quarter for Beal City. Pitch left. Block, running, Drew, block, touchdown!
Just a toss sweep. You got the guard out there pulling. They get hat on hat. pretty basic fundamental football.
And again, that speed, the pulling guards, that is a huge issue right now. Beal City's speed on the offensive line. It's pretty fun to watch.
Well, what's also, as we mentioned, they do so much formation shifting. They had formation to the wide side of the field. Then they just toss sweep back into the short slide. It's a great call.
Martin to kick the extra point. He's only missed one all year. He's still only missed one all year. 15 unanswered for Beal City, who's been picking off good team after good team in the playoffs. Rallied back to win at Iron Mountain in the regional. Beat Fowler in the semis last week. Fowler was the top team in this division all year long. And they sure look like a team that's here and comfortable year after year.
Well, when you have that tradition, you're not afraid. You've been here numerous times over the years. And then to beat those two teams, and you talk about a team peaking at the right time, right? So they're hitting on all cylinders. And then to have the opening drive, 3 plays, and Richard hits them, and then they answer back right away and come back again and score two touchdowns and gain their footing and momentum. Yeah, this is going to be a game.
Beal City team that is here for the 10th time ever. They've won 2 state championships. Been a while since they won the whole thing. Was here in 2021 and lost in the state championship game. The team that last year lost to Ubley in the semifinals, and Ubley was the team that eventually won the Division A championship. They have come out a team on the mission in this first quarter. Once again, Stroke, the freshman, on the return for Gabriel Richard. Nice tackle in the open field. That was Drew Gross. One of those Grosses we've been talking about who made the tackle. You know, the last time Beal City won the state championship, all the way back in 2009, when they beat Crystal Falls Forest Park 41-23. An offense that looks darn similar to the offense that we're watching today. And I think, John, that is something that's underlying in this game, right? Beal City gets here a lot, but it's been a while since they've won a state championship. You know that sideline wants to win it for all those teams that came before them and just never finished the job here at Ford Field.
Yeah, 100%.
Calhoun on the run. Joey is tough to bring down, but swarming Beal City defense gang tackles him. He barely got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, that was all athleticism there. You know, had it not been him fighting for those yards, it could have been a big loss. But that's what separates him from a lot of backs, is he can make people miss, and he's a tremendous back, especially for Division A. What a thoroughbred.
One quarter down, 3 to go in the Division 8 state championship game. Gabriel Richard had a 50-plus yard touchdown catch and run on the first drive, but Beal City has responded. A team that's here year after year, leading after 1 quarter in the Division 8 state championship. You know, that first quarter had a lot of subplots to it. Gabriel Richard on their first drive scores on 4 plays, and they scored on a 50-plus yard touchdown pass. But Beal City, as that quarter wore on, started to show off their trademark athleticism. And they've got the lead as we start this second quarter. Sobush has got to evacuate the pocket, and he throws, hoping for Lesko along that sideline. It is incomplete. And now Gabriel Richard, John, in the same exact position they were on the last drive. They got to go for it on 3rd down and long.
Yeah. I mean, Beal City has done a nice job pushing them into 3rd and longs. I mean, look, they have the explosiveness, they have the athletes, but you can't make a living a whole game if you're in 3rd and long. You know, that's going to come back at you.
They had a 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 7 on the last drive. They completed a 3rd and 8 pass for a first down, but did not convert the 3rd and 7. Here's a 3rd down and 9. And that Gabriel Richard sideline is hot. Coach Shea had to burn a timeout, and he was not happy about it.
That's the second time they've had to do that, too, Evan. And so that, he's not a happy guy.
Gabriel Richard last week got off to an outstanding start in the semis. Big lead in the first half, and then all of a sudden it got close. They were up by 22 points at halftime, and then kind of hung on in the second half. But they were showing off their big bodies and their creative play calling during the entire semifinal win. Joey Calhoun, all 6'3", 205 of them rumbling for a touchdown. We've already seen Lesko catch one today. Caught one last week, and the defense was making plays. Oh, there he is again. Derek Lesko with the INT in that secondary. And Gabriel Richard is here at Ford Field, playing for the school's first ever state championship. Got off to a great start, but now all of a sudden, the tide is turning. This feels like a really important 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, well, they're settling in here, and yeah, they need to pick this up to regain some momentum.
Watch out for Lesko in the slot. That's who they threw the touchdown pass to. Right side of your screen. Sobush throws. That's caught. That's a 1st down. There's the conversion they needed. Chris Vigors. And the drive continues.
That time, initially they came out and they had formation to the short side. This time they had twins. Just a quick turnout, outcut. You had double outcuts and deliver the ball in time and rhythm. Great football play.
They were attacking Drew Block, who had the interception on the last drive.
And Block was giving some cushion there. And so there was a little room there, and just a well-executed football play.
Sobush on a design run to the right. Got a long way to go. Got away from one and then lowered the shoulder. That was a physical collision with Owen McKinney.
Well, you love it when a quarterback's lowering his shoulder and dishing out some punishment. Basically, just a quarterback sweep, using the big fella. Get picked up 4 or 5 yards. Nice football play. Safe, conservative football play.
Be honest, when you were playing quarterback, did you like that type of run? Did you like that contact, or did you never want to be touched the whole game?
No, I kind of like the contact, probably to my detriment, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
That feels like
not all the time.
That feels like the politically correct answer, but I'll believe you.
I paid for Bo Schembechler. We liked contact.
I heard a rumor that guy liked to play physical football.
Yeah, every now and then. Yeah, I've heard that talk.
It's going to be a 3rd down and short here. This is the type of 3rd down that Gabriel Richard wants to be in.
Yep. When you get a back like Calhoun and you got the kind of line that they do, you know, this is right up their alley.
Already converted that 3rd down and 9 to keep this drive alive. This is actually their first play of the game in Beal City territory. On their first drive, they threw a touchdown that was over 50 yards. Sobush has got the 1st down, colliding with McKinney again. Eventually, Wyatt Wilson wrapped him up.
Again, just the quarterback keeper to the right. They seal the edge there. He lowers his shoulder and picks up a big 1st down. Nice play.
I know he's had a couple of physical runs, but be honest with me. Do you want your quarterback taking that type of physicality on basically back-to-back plays?
Well, I think especially at this level, a lot of times a quarterback is one of the better athletes on the team, the bigger guys, so I think you can get away with it. But, no, you can't make a living having him run the ball 20 times a game.
So give to Calhoun, and he is wrapped up. They have bottled him up. Reese Hooks wrapped him up for a loss.
Great penetration by Hooks there. He just slipped the gap there. Great play.
You know, Hooks before the game was not listed as a starter on the O-line and D-line for Beal City, but he has played on the offensive and defensive line so far in this game. Listed on the roster at 5'6", 205, and he has been quick on that line.
You talk about old step around middle guard, just getting in the gaps.
Lesko in space, not a lot again. Drew Gross the first man to get him, and now Gabriel Richard back to 3rd down and long.
Beal City going sideline to sideline. Great effort there by Gross.
So last time we saw Gabriel Richard on 3rd down and long run a couple of comebacks for a first down. John, what do you think the play call could be here on this 3rd down and long?
Well, I think depending on the formation they came out, they've been successful twice running twins to both sides and doing basic outs on both sides. And this time it looks like they're a little tighter. They've switched the formation up. We got motion. We're going to isolate.
They had an open man, but they missed him. That was Vigors again, who caught it last time on 3rd down and 9. He was open.
He was open, Evan, but he was not far enough. He did not go far enough to pick up the first down. He cut that a little short, and that would have been a problem. So whenever you're on 3rd and long, you got to at least get to the sticks, right, before you make that comeback move.
Gabriel Richard, a team that does not like to punt. The offense still on the field here. This is the first 4th down try of the game for Gabriel Richard. Sobush given time. Fastball high and wide. He missed Lesko, and Beal City gets the stop.
They keep coming back to that deep out, and they were not fooled. Nice defensive play by the backfield of Beal City.
Beal City's secondary got burned on the first drive for a touchdown. They haven't been burned since. This special presentation of the MHSAA Football Finals brought to you by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Family is not just the name of our company, but the way that we do business. Buy your local Toyota dealer for all your Toyota offers. Visit Toyota.com. And by the Michigan Achievement Scholarship, it's a game changer. Snowing outside, but it's very warm here inside Ford Field, and that Beal City side has got to be so happy, John, with how this game is flipped. First drive, Gabriel Richard throws a 50-plus yard touchdown, and now everything has changed. Beal City has flipped the script.
They really have. They've made some great adjustments here early, and now it's forced Gabriel Richard into some 3rd and longs, and they've not been able to convert.
Kenny on the sweep to the right. Nice job by Gabriel Richard bottling it up this time. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2. McKinney last week was the hero for Beal City, the game-winning touchdown and that upset win against Fowler. Returner from last year's team that lost in the semis, won a state title playing on that baseball team last year. Hoping to go for the double. Baseball state championship in the summer, and now a football state championship on Thanksgiving weekend. Smith gives, block runs at the touchdown on the last drive, and a good gain here. It's not a first down quite yet, but 3rd down and very short.
Well, they keep pounding that middle, and they mix it up well. They got motion, they get them to the outside. They're mixing it up, going inside and outside, trying to keep Gabriel Richard off balance. They've done a nice job.
Brad Gross, once upon a time, was the quarterback on a state championship winning team for Beal City. If anyone knows the culture of this outstanding program, it is that man on the sidelines. Up the middle again. That's a first down and more. Block stumbling across the 40-yard line. Shoestring tackle for Ben Stroke. But this Beal City offense is leaning on Gabriel Richard.
Well, they're getting a lot of guys in front of their ball carrier. They're pulling, they're bringing that back in motion, and they're creating some great seams and just pound. They're just continuing to pound. It's almost like a heavyweight fight, right? First few rounds, but by the 3rd and 4th quarter, there's going to be a cumulative effect on this Gabriel Richard defense. So they got to be careful. They got to start making some stops.
Quick move in 2nd quarter. We're coming up on the halfway mark of it. Smith turns and gives to McKinney. There it is again. Solid gain on first down, and this allows them too, right, to continue to stay ahead of the chains. An offense that's not really designed for 2nd and 3rd and long. This is where they want to live.
Well, between McKinney and Block, they're mixing it up well. they're starting to bring now, as earlier, they're bringing at least 8, 9 guys into the box now. And that's what they're going to have to do, right? They're going to try to have to force Beal City to throw the football, okay? Because that's not their strength, but they got to get more hats up there to stop the run.
Pitch McKinney. Tripped up. Great play by Derek Lesko. And now this is not where Beal City wants to be in. 3rd down and long after this great play.
Lesko coming up from the secondary. He slips a block, makes a great tackle. Great tackle, open field tackle.
3rd down and 5. Man who goes both ways. Caught that touchdown earlier for Gabriel Richard. What do you think the call is here?
Play action. I think he's going to do a little play action on this one.
It would be the first pass of the game for Beal City. They'll give.
What do I know?
Block running left. Oh, that's going to be a face mask. It's going to be close either way to a first down or not, but that is textbook. And that's now the 2nd face mask penalty on Gabriel Richard in this game.
And the 3rd big penalty that's really affected, their field position and put them in a hole.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15 yards, results in a first down.
Yeah, you can't grab that.
I mean, I guess if you're going to have a face mask, you may as well take the helmet clean off, I guess.
Get your money's worth.
I guess so.
But that digs them into a deeper hole here.
That was Lesko who had the penalty, who made the big tackle on the prior play. 1st down 10 for Beal City. Keep in mind, too, they get the ball to start the second half, and Riverview Gabriel Richard only has 1 timeout left. That could play a factor whenever they get the ball back.
Yep.
Smith turns and gives. Run up the middle. Beal City has used multiple carriers in this game. That's Eric Elias's first carry, and he's inside the 10-yard line.
They have a great stable of backs, and when you can rotate them with that motion, they're a very tough team to play against. You only have a week to prepare, Evan, which is hard, okay? Because there's so many multiple sets, they're doing motion, a lot of counters. This is not an easy task, and that's what makes them so difficult to play.
Pitch right, block running. A little bit of real estate, and then he ran into one of his offensive linemen. Sobush made the tackle. It is 3rd down, but again, very short.
Sobush doing a nice job coming up, running sideline to sideline. That's the great thing about Division 8 too. You see so many kids going both ways, right? And those are Iron Man football players, and that's it's great. And the other flip side is when there's an injury in Division 8, you may have to move 4 or 5 people to make the chess pieces fit. And that's coaching.
3rd down, very short. May turn into 3rd down and longer. It's a false start. This changes the arithmetic.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty. Let's go 3rd down.
All right, so this is interesting now, right? There was a 3rd down and 5 earlier on this drive. You thought Beal City was going to throw. Instead, they kept it on the ground. What do you think now?
Well, I'm 0 for 1. I think they're going to try to sweep to the wide side here. I mean, they've had great success getting outside, pulling those guards. So I think they're going to sweep and get McKinney on the outside. We mentioned earlier, you got to go with your best player in these kind of situations. I think that's what you got to do.
Here you go. There's McKinney, but a great tackle. Sobush again. If he doesn't make this tackle, that may be a touchdown.
Yeah.
So now it's 4th down and 2 after this great play.
That's a quarterback coming up making that play. That's a football player.
First 4th down of the game for Beal City. They will go for it. Smith under center, throwing for the first time today. Jump ball caught. That's a touchdown. Owen McKinney climbs the ladder.
Just, they got him in motion. And the great thing that Kyler Smith did was he put the ball up in the air and he gave McKinney a chance to make a play, right? It was just a jump ball using his athleticism, isolated him against the quarterback there, Sobush. He did a great job. 2 athletes going after the football, but it really, Kyler Smith made that play because he gave him a chance to go up there and make a full athletic play.
Athlete on athlete. You just got to give him a chance to win the battle, and that is exactly what just happened. Long way to go, but they deserve to smile on that sideline. That's 22 unanswered for Beal City, and a big lead in the state title game. Now we've got a message from the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
This special presentation of the MHSAA football finals is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Well, Beal City is no stranger to being here at Ford Field, but they also frequent McLean Stadium over at Michigan State just as much. Last year winning their 2nd consecutive baseball state title. There were 3 guys here today that played a huge role on that win. Owen McKinney, Eric Elias, and Kyler Smith. Kyler's brother Caden actually threw a perfect game to win that one. But with talking with Coach Gross, he said these boys worked so hard. He said they really learned how to be leaders because of that game. A lot of them spent a lot of time as backups on a very talented baseball program, but he said it really taught them leadership, and that's something that they've been able to carry into this football season, guys.
We talk about the culture for Beal City, and John, you know this as well as I do. Culture does not just exist at a school in one program, right? Isn't it funny how one school is good at football, and then they're good at wrestling, and then they're good at hockey? Well, at Beal City, clearly, it's something where they have taken that baseball momentum into the state championship game of football.
Well, and that's, again, when you're in Division 8, the beauty of being able to play multiple sports, and there's an overlap, right? And that's why I think it's so good that these kids are able to play multiple sports, because you don't get burned out in one and you compete at a high level with another, and there's nothing like real competition games. Everybody wants to play AAU or 7-on-7. It's not the same as when you have a real game.
This is a great kick. Gabriel Richard on the return. Getting across the 20-yard line. That was Stroke on the return. Long field for Gabriel Richard. Let's get a message from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
As property manager, I use Family Heating and Cooling because they're honest, they're on time, and fair priced.
Contact us today to find out what our family can do for your family.
This is a massive drive for Gabriel Richard for many reasons, but John, I think it's most important because they do not get the ball to start the second half. Let's see how they attack this with just the one timeout.
Well, and Beal City's not a team where you want to get far behind them because they can't eat so much clock up. And, yeah, this is crucial.
Sobush to throw. Got an open man. Vigors wrapped up. Nice tackle by Zucker in the open field. There's always help wanted when it comes to high school athletics. Game officials every year. They need to find them. Over 1,000 new officials are needed across dozens of sports across the MHSAA. Signing up is easy. To become a registered game official, go visit MHSAA.com. Clock winding under 2 minutes to go in this first half. Sobush has got the snap. He's evacuating the pocket and running for a long time down the sideline. That's the type of play that kickstarts a drive.
Real heady play there by Sobush. That was covered very, very well. He saw that. Once he got back, planted his feet, He looked front side, looked back side. They were covered, took off. That's a heady veteran quarterback move.
Nick going both ways in this game. Made a couple of tackles on the last Beal City offensive drive. Important too on that run to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Sobush looking around. Nick's got to go left, now right. Got a big block behind the play, and Sobush out of bounds. You know, that's one of those runs where you run about 60 yards to gain 6.
Yeah, well, and thank God he was able to do that. Give Beal City a lot of credit. They put a lot of pressure on him, but their secondary is doing a nice job blanketing those receivers. He didn't have anybody to throw to again.
Let's keep this in mind, too, on this Gabriel Richard drive. Their kicking game is a question mark. Their normal kicker got hurt earlier in the year. Ben Stroke, the freshman's done a decent job kicking it, but not the situation where field goals are the option A here. Sobush to run again. Boosby gave him a nice block, and he lowered the shoulder. That is a quarterback who has been physical all day. Gatrell made the tackle.
Well, you can see his physicality on defense as well. This was a designed quarterback keeper. They put 3 receivers to the field. They tried to pull the defense to overshift there, and they just brought him back on the weak side, picked up some nice yardage.
Clock still running. Coming up on 1:15 to go. Sobush with time. Taking a shot. Down the sideline. Just missed Lesko. Zucker step for step in coverage.
They went back to that same play that they started that first drive in the first quarter there. Nice play by Zuckers there. What they're doing and what they're having Sobush do, they put 3 receivers to the wide side. He's looking front side at the receivers, and then he comes right back. They were just trying to do a one-on-one matchup, and they were not fooled at all.
Do you keep having to work the sidelines here with just the one timeout?
Yeah, yeah, you have to. I mean, you got to get the guys out of bounds.
Clock frozen, 1:09 to go. Sobush on the run. Moving left. It's not going to be good. That's going to keep the clock running. Good tackle for Eric Elias. And Gabriel Richard will burn that last timeout with a minute to go in the first half. Coming up at the half, this is a special year for the MHSAA, celebrating a century, 100 years of the MHSAA. Also preview our outstanding Division IV state championship. Someone's going to win a state championship for the first time ever between Niles and Goodrich. And we'll peek inside both locker rooms. We've spoke about it this entire first half. 3rd down and 8, these 3rd down and longs. Gabriel Richard's converted a couple, but they really just don't look comfortable on these long 3rd downs.
No. Again, you cannot make a living on 3rd and long. And Beal City, after that first drive, their defense has really tightened down and made great adjustments. So, minute left, no timeouts now. You're going to have to get out of bounds. I know that, and like to your point, Evan, they got to try to get some points on the board here to gain some momentum back.
Later on today, a couple of blocks away at LCA, Wings taking the ice to take on the Devils in from Jersey. Coverage begins at 2:30 with the Red Wings live. Huge OT win for the Wings the other night. How about Lucas Raymond with the OT winner? Wings have won a couple in a row, finding their sea legs again after that West Coast trip. 3rd down long for Gabriel Richard. They converted a couple on the last drive. Another flag.
They're doubling Lesko on the
Dead ball.
on the wide side here.
Offense, 5-yard penalty.
They keep putting trips to the field, and they want to isolate Lesko. That's the first time they've walked out a linebacker to double him.
So if Lesko is being doubled, what's the counter for Gabriel Richard offensively?
Well, they're gonna have to go to one of those receivers on the front side. They've done a nice job on some outcuts on the front, so look for them to try to hit somebody on the wide side.
3rd down and a mile. Sobush throw got tipped. Aaron Locke tipped it. Beal City defense swarming again.
Nice job by Locke. Got his hands up. You got to get those defensive linemen's hands down. That's rule number one for the offensive lineman. The receiver was open on that outcut. He just, great play by Locke.
This is interesting, too, depending on how this fourth down goes. If it's an incomplete pass, Beal City with 2 timeouts will get the ball in good field position.
And their offense is not built for 2 minutes, but the way they've been running the ball, nothing would surprise me.
Flag down, throw caught. Stroke's got a long ways to go, and he's out of bounds. Beal City defense thinks the flag's on Gabriel Richard.
Illegal shift, offense, that penalty's declined, turnover on downs.
I mean, this turnaround for Beal City's defense is pretty remarkable, considering on the first drive of the game for Gabriel Richard, they scored on 4 plays. It is all flipped for that hardworking group in blue and white.
Yeah, I was, concerned there for Beal City after that first drive, but yeah, these guys have done a great job. And that'll go back to the tradition, the fact they did not get rattled at all. They just get back, and they had the benefit of 3 big penalties that has really hurt Gabriel Richard.
To your point, this is an offense that usually isn't designed for 2 minutes. We'll see what they can do. 51 seconds and 2 timeouts. Stretch run to McKinney. Owen slipped a tackle and got up there near the first down. Stopped after a gain of 9, and timeout called by Beal City.
What they're hoping is that they can pop a big one and get down there, and that's the hope right now. But
do you think the fact that Beal City gets the ball to start the second half, in the back of their minds they go, you know what, if we don't pop anything here, we'll just take the thing to the locker room because we're about to get it anyway?
Yeah, that's part of the thinking. The worst thing that they could do would be try to do something that's out of their comfort zone, throw a pick, and give them an opportunity to maybe take a shot and get a score here. But they're in the driver's seat right now.
It's an Aggies team that has lost twice this year, but both of Beal City's losses came to teams that were outside of Division 8. Lost to McBain in Week 2, lost to Reed City in the last round right before the playoffs. Frankfort, Maple City, Glen Lake, Iron Mountain, and Fowler. Beal City's route here to Ford Field. Those wins the last 2 weeks. Iron Mountain in the regional, had to take a 6+ hour bus ride up to Iron Mountain, and then taking down Fowler in the semis. This is a group that we knew one thing. They weren't going to be rattled coming into this game.
No, and as we brought up earlier, right, they expect to be here, and that's what they build their team around, and that's how they are coached.
Low snap, Smith's throwing down the middle. That pass knocked away. Drysdale the coverage for Gabriel Richard.
Nice play on Drysdale. They just ran a post cut. He came right across the middle. Nice, good ball. Just got his hand in there and knocked it down. He delivered right in between. The safety was sitting there. He threw it right in there. Good ball.
Still 3rd down and short with that 1 timeout left for Beal City. McKinney right. First down, Owen McKinney. Took a big hit as he crossed the 45-yard line by Viggers. First down for Beal City, not using that timeout right now as they reset the chains. And they'll clock it here to stop it.
Somebody could have done that yesterday, right?
I was waiting for somebody to make that joke. I was waiting. And John got, if you had it in the pool, the first reference to the Bears yesterday, not exactly handling the clock well. First half, first game. John, you're the winner.
I had to. I couldn't help myself.
I think we can all agree that was a curious end to yesterday's game.
Little suspect.
Best start ever for the Lions, by the way. think that's the sweetest sentence I'll say all day. Low snap to Smith. He's setting up a screen to the near side. Low throw caught by Block. He's got some blocking. And then Drew wrapped up by Sobush right near the line to gain.
They set that screen up nice. They motioned to it. They got about 3 guys out there escorting them. Nice job. Good pursuit by Gabriel Richard. Shut that down, but good football play and well developed, a nice screen.
Keep up with everything MHSAA on social media. Look them up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for tournament updates, event announcements, video highlights, and high school athletics news from around our great state of Michigan. It's the best way to connect with the MHSAA every single day. So we're both out of timeouts here. Beal City's got the ball, 33-yard line. Their kicking game is a factor here. They have made some field goals this year, but no field goals over 30 yards. So they probably got to get to the 15, 20-yard line to even think about a field goal.
That's what I was just going to say. They got to get down to the 20 probably at least and to have a shot. So
Kyler Smith been asked to throw on these last couple of drives. Smith threw the touchdown last time.
And he's been accurate on these. I mean, he's a 60% passer. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Going to throw again. Looking near side, that's incomplete. Too low for McKinney. It's 4th down. Again, no timeouts, and field goal, they probably get about, 20 yards here to think about it?
I think so. I bet you they go to the short side on a run to pick up the first down and get out of bounds and then take a shot. Now they're going to throw it.
Smith pump fake. Kyler Smith going downfield. Jump ball. It is intercepted. Lesko wins that jump ball. Ripped it away from Zucker. And a little bit of life for Gabriel Richard at the end of the half.
Well, here he pumped. It was like an out and up. Gave him a shot there. Just a jump ball and a great play there by Lesko. Him and Zuckers have been going at it all day, on both sides. And it's back and forth, heavyweight fight between those, the game within the game between those two.
Can you tell with the vertical that Derek just had to go pick it off that he also plays basketball?
Yeah, well, he's very athletic, as we saw on that first play in the first drive.
It's been a frustrating half for Gabriel Richard. Program here trying to win their first ever state championship, and they got off to that great start. Scored on the first drive on 4 plays, led 8-0. But 22 in a row for Beal City has made Gabriel Richard long for plays like this for much of the half.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a few adjustments at halftime and come out. So important that first drive of the third quarter to get a stop, get the ball back for them.
They were reviewing it just to make sure everything was clean. Heck of an interception by Lesko. Heck of a half for Beal City. 22 in a row. There's still more coaching to be done for Brad Gross, who won a title as the head coach for Beal City back in '94. And now he's got his team in position with 1 half to go. Trying to bring another state championship back home to Beal City. This would be their 3rd ever state championship. They are 2-7 all time against a Gabriel Richard team hoping to win their first ever state championship. Gabriel Richard has got that firepower to get back in a ball game at the blink of an eye. That Beal City athleticism and well-executed offense was on display for large stretches of the first half of our first game of the day. Carol Lyles down on the sidelines with us for these first couple of games, and she's standing by with Beal City head coach Brad Gross.
Coach Drew Block, 2 touchdowns and an interception in this one. What do you like from his efforts so far?
Well, he's a senior and he's playing a really good game in his final game. So that's what I love about his effort is his effort. So, I mean, what more can I say?
You get the ball back to start the second half. How do you make sure this offensive momentum continues throughout that next half?
Well, we have to sustain blocks. We have to really keep our running game going like it has been. And if we do that, hopefully, things will go our way.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
All right, Beal City leading this one 22-8 as we enter halftime. Coming up, we take a look at what makes this weekend here at Ford Field just so special. The MHSAA football finals are brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. And by the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer. Well, there are a lot of places that you have to be over Thanksgiving weekend, whether it's your aunt and uncle's house, your grandparents' house, or you're hosting. But as a high school football player, there is one place that you hope that you get to. It's right here at Ford Field to play for a state title. Our Matt Shepard has been along for the ride for over 25 years, and he shares with us what makes this weekend in particular so special.
We're back here once more, together, turning onto Brush Street, just past the Gem Theater and Courthouse. It's not an introduction, but an annual reunion. An anniversary for some. But always, it's a celebration for the kids walking out of the tunnel. It's a time to remember and mark the layering of those memories. 100 years have passed since the birth of the MHSAA. And 2024 marks the 50th football state finals. 50 since Ishpeming stunned Hudson in Mount Pleasant. 43 since John Harrington won title number 1. 30 since Lapeer walked it off in overtime.
It's over! Lapeer
20 since Rockford went back-to-back. 10 since Donnie Corley pulled in a miracle.
Touchdown, King!
And 5 years since we learned the name Brady Rhodes.
Touchdown!
It's a chance to see 8 schools bring home the dream of a state title and celebrate all the ones that came before. It all happens on Brush Street, Thanksgiving weekend, and high school football, where we gather to renew, reconnect, and rediscover the magic once again. Welcome home.
Rice, Underwood, yes! In his hand, Johnson's got it, and he's headed to the end zone. Travis Smith, touchdown, Ithaca. 3 straight championships. Oh, extra year, Brady, touchdown. It is one to remember in Clarkston.
The Flying G's of Gladwin have won their first state championship game.
Such a special weekend to be here at Ford Field. So many coaches, so many players that we've been introduced to on this big stage that truly makes this Thanksgiving weekend one of a kind. But stay right here. We've got so much more coming up. We take a look at the games that are coming up here on our network next. Some pretty special sights here as some of the Beal City football players taking place out in this halftime performance with the members of their band. Really can tell that this community is all in. But coming up, we have the Division 4 matchup set for just after 12:30. Goodrich taking on Niles, where somebody will win their first state title in school history. Pretty good. It's going to be a good one, guys. It is snowing outside, but we are surely nice and warm inside at Ford Field for these MHSAA football state finals. We have some great matchups coming up here tonight. We've got Division 6 final, Jackson Lumen Christie facing off against Lansing Catholic. Sure to be a fantastic game you will not want to miss. And then our nightcap here tonight in the much anticipated Division II final. Byron Center taking on Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Matt Shepard, Rob Rubik, and Natalie Kerwin will be on those calls. And looking ahead to tomorrow's games, we've got some more great matchups. Starting off, Division VII, Millington taking on Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central. And then our Division III matchup set for 12:30, Detroit Martin Luther King taking on Zeeland West. And then as we move forward to the night games, Pontiac Notre Dame Prep taking on Frankenmuth in the Division V state final. And then our nightcap, again, a much anticipated game, Detroit Cass Tech taking on Hudsonville. Sure to be a very busy weekend here, but we know for a fact that we are in for some memorable moments here at Ford Field.
That was a remarkable close to the first half for Beal City. Scored the final 22 points. Strong start for Gabriel Richard, and then Beal City brought the fight to him. Their head coach at halftime in the locker room.
It takes 4. It's exactly the perfect. Glad you said that. It doesn't. 2 quarters doesn't win it for you. It takes 4. 0-0 right now. Hold on to the football. Play Aggie football. Play with bad intentions, and we're all set. But they are going to make a run. They didn't get here for no reason. The ball's going to come up. You never know what they're going to. You never know what you're going to see. Okay. Does anybody else have anything that they need to say?
We need to run some more traps.
Run some more traps? Okay.
Our halftime highlights brought to you by Wall Side Windows. You know, a couple of minutes into the game, it looked like Gabriel Richard was going to be slicing and dicing that Beal City defense the entire half. First drive, 52-yard touchdown. But then it was the Beal City offense that started to get it rolling. Some big-time conversions, punching it in close near the goal line. Drew Block scored a couple of times in that first half. And Beal City on the march time and again has taken a 22-8 lead at halftime. That catch, by the way, was on 4th down. McKinney climbs the ladder, and Beal City up by a couple of scores at halftime. Gabriel Richard head coach Mark Shea just spoke to Carol Lyles on the field.
22 unanswered points. Just how do you address that situation?
Well, it's a situation where we have to go get it. I mean, we're waiting for them to get to us. We're not tackling. We're waiting. I'm not sure if the guys got a little starstruck or what, but we better come out with some fury.
Beal City gets the ball to start the second half. What's your game plan to slow them down?
It's not anything we have to do. We have to tackle. We have to tackle. We're not tackling. We have opportunities. And we've got to quit the silly penalties. The penalties are just ridiculous. They're killing us. So, no, we have to be a better team. There's no question about it. In the second half, we got to be a better team.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck second half.
Pretty simple message from Coach Shea. You know, when you look at the first half stats, John, you were all over this in the first half. I think the biggest one is not on the screen. It's the penalty yards. Yeah. Time and again, as Coach was talking about, they were just killing themselves defensively with personal fouls.
Yeah, and when you give a good team that can control the football, the field position, and bails them out on those plays, that's tough to overcome. And, you know, time of possession, I thought it would be a bigger discrepancy, but not as big as I would have thought. You know, they're basically, Beal City obviously ran the ball better, but, you know, it's not a huge difference on the stats. It came down to penalties. Coach mentioned the tackling, right? I mean, that's key. And these guys, if they want to compete, they're going to have to step it up the second half, because Beal City's a scary team because they can possess the ball, have those 8-9 minute drives, and you do not want to get behind too far on those guys.
You know, it's interesting, John. You and I talked at the beginning of the broadcast about, you know, I wonder if there's any nerves for Gabriel Richard being here, trying to win their first ever state championship for their school. Do you think when you tackle poorly and there's penalties, is that a sign of nerves or something else?
I'm not so sure it's nerves, Evan. I think it's just it's a testament to, you know, the talent on Beal City, and you know, being here in the big stage is different, right? The air's hotter, they're going to get cramped up more. It's a different deal. It takes a while to adjust, and that may be part of it. But I think basically Beal City really put them in a position to make the mistakes that they did.
In the college level, Miami, Ohio is considered the cradle of coaches. I think the cradle of coaches has got to be Riverview Gabriel Richard on the high school level. Look at all those coaches on the bottom left of your screen. I think you know something about that guy at the very top.
Well, it's funny. Coach McCartney recruited me. He coached a Divine Child. He recruited me to go to the University of Michigan. He's a good friend of mine. I know Woody was the defensive line coach for the Steelers. And then Coach Carr, Lloyd, he actually was our defensive back coach my freshman year. He's a great friend. And he refereed me in high school in basketball. So there's some great ones. I don't know if it's in the water in Riverview or what, but there's something. It's a special place. Some Hall of Fame coaches come out of there.
Coach Mark Shea has done a remarkable job with this Gabriel Richard team this year. Took the job in the summer, sight unseen. And then he went to the first couple of practices and figured, I got a pretty good group here. They need the second half of their lives, though, down by 2 touchdowns with Beal City about to get the ball to start this second half.
That was one of the things that Coach Schembeck always preached. The first drive of the third quarter really sets the tempo. And you have to be able to get back in the game. Gabriel Richard's got to get a stop here.
Got to tackle McKinney on special teams. Owen's got speed to burn. Owen McKinney down the far sidelines. Touchdown saving tackle by the kicker, Ben Stroke. McKinney showing off the wheels on a long return.
Well, anytime you kick the ball to McKinney, you're going to have a problem. He was able to come across the field, and they set up a nice wall. They got some guys in front of him. These last 30 yards are just individual effort. Individual effort by McKinney. Great job putting them in a tremendous field position to start this second half.
How about a 52-yard return for Owen McKinney? Who needs a breather? Get him a second. He's going to the sideline to get a little water.
Not exactly what Gabriel Richard drew up at halftime.
Beal City starts yet another drive in excellent field position. This is a sweep coming right, and it is handled. Biggers has made a bunch of tackles for Gabriel Richard these last couple of quarters.
He really has. He's playing his tail off. I'll tell you, they've done a great job. Their offense is so hard to defense because they do so much motion, and then they do a lot of false pulls with their guards. And what that does, it slows up the linebackers and secondary on that secondary pursuit. So that's they really have to stay home, and that's why it's so difficult. And to be able to prepare for that in a week, they don't see this every week, and that's what makes it a real challenge for Gabriel Richard.
Up the middle with block. Offensive linemen wanted more trap plays in the locker room at halftime. Let's see what they run here, John. This is going to be a third down and longer for Beal City.
Well, it was great, getting that audio and video of the halftime. Coach said we got to play with bad intentions, and it's 4 quarters. It's not 2 quarters, right? I mean, that's how you win it. You got to go all 4.
Opening drive of this third quarter for Beal City. They threw for a touchdown in the first half. Fake the pitch to the left, come back to the middle. Oh, what play design. Zucker's into the open field. Garrison refuses to go down. Drysdale made the tackle. Finally, Zucker got loose.
Great job. They brought 2 backs out of a wing formation. Watch these cuts by Zucker. He sticks his foot in the ground, accelerates. That's a football running back right there. I mean, that's not easy to do. He made 4 people miss just by those short, shallow cuts.
20 yards on 3rd down and 7. Give again. This is block with some real estate. Driving those legs near the 10-yard line. Awfully close to another first down. Nick Sobush had to make the tackle in the secondary.
That's the other thing that kills teams playing Beal City. You got McKinney, you got Block, you got Zukers, right? You know, pick your poison. I mean, they got weapons, and they just keep bringing them at you.
Kyler Smith, the sophomore quarterback, fresh off winning a state championship in baseball last year. Starting second baseman as a freshman, not half bad. His brother Caden, Kara told you earlier, threw a perfect game in the state championship. McKinney on the run. Inside the 5, first and goal coming Beal City.
Nothing fancy. They pull that front side guard. It's a toss sweep. Look at that hole from McKinney. He's into the secondary. When he levels off his shoulders, it's not easy for those defensive backs to come up and stop him.
It's one of those tough combinations, right, of speed and also power coming at you.
And he's going downhill. He's always got good body lean. He's going for the extra yard. He's difficult to bring down, obviously.
Right back to McKinney. There's that power and speed we were talking about. Into the end zone for the second time today.
Well, run more traps. That's what they did. Touchdown.
When this Beal City freight train is coming at you offensively, get the heck out of the way. That's 28 unanswered. Kyle Martin to kick the extra point. He's already made a couple in this game. Feels like every other year you flip on your TV and Beal City's playing for a state championship. They're here for the 10th time all time. They're trying to add another trophy to the closet, and they're getting closer with powerful runs after powerful runs.
Welcome back here to Ford Field. Beal City leading this one 29-8. Well, early in this summer, Gabriel Richard head coach Shea wasn't necessarily sure that he wanted to get back into coaching. After 30 years on the sidelines, he thought to himself, you know what, maybe I've had enough, until he heard about this job at Gabriel Richard, and he had some second thoughts. Maybe I do got a little bit left in the tank. So I asked him, Coach, what is it about this position that made you want to return to the sidelines? And he said, simply put, I love being at a small school. I've always wanted to feel a part of the fabric of a football program and a community. And that's exactly what I felt here at Gabriel Richard. And he joked with us, you guys, he said, I did get a couple meals along the way, so maybe that was the true deciding factor. I don't know, it would have been for me, but nonetheless, happy with his decision to be there at Gabriel Richard, guys.
You know, Kara, it was funny, right? Coach is talking about this is why I took the job, and this is why I took the job, and also they fed me. We now know the way to his heart if we ever need something from him.
Hey, that's enough for me.
Amen, Kara.
Tried and true.
We had to make a food reference on Thanksgiving, right? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Let's go to return it for Gabriel Richard. He's got a little room here. And then that space closes. What work by the special teams for Beal City. Drew Gross, coach's kid, making a nice tackle.
Drew had been hurt. That was early in the year, and he came back. And great to see him running down on special teams. And these Division 8s, right? You play both sides. You run special teams. I mean, that's football.
And this is such a curious spot in the game for Gabriel Richard. You've given up 29 points in a row, but we've seen the firepower from them offensively in this game. Feels like they just got to get something rolling offensively just to get the juju back on their side. This is a give to Calhoun, who Beal City, I think that's the underrated facet of the first half, John. They did a great job bottling up Joey Calhoun all half.
They did. Their adjustments have been spectacular to their formations. That, you know, they do multiple formations there. Gabriel Richard and those guys very well coached, and obviously watched a lot of film and were able to put the right adjustments in.
Second down 5 for Gabriel Richard, who faced multiple third down and longs in the second quarter. Here's Calhoun. Oosby blocking for him. Just short. Third down coming up. Let's get a message from the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
Now during Black Friday, returning AZ Plan trade-in lessees can lease a 2024 F-150 XLT 4x4 Super Crew for $299 a month for 24 months.
John, you were just talking about how a lot of these guys go both ways. I'm seeing some shoulders starting to slump on both teams.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you're not used to playing in this atmosphere. The emotions are high. It's a challenge. You got to be hydrated, and you're playing both ways. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to get tired.
Calhoun got it, but just by a little bit. Owen McKinney made the tackle, and Calhoun and McKinney both worse for wear after that play.
You got two gladiators there going at it. Just a toss sweep. Watch McKinney come up and make that tackle.
Owen, a remarkable player for Beal City. Scored the game-winning touchdown in their upset win in the semis against Fowler last week, and has already scored twice in this game today. Very good to see him get to his feet. Join us later tonight. Pistons on the road at Indiana. They're taking on the Pacers. Coverage tonight, 7:30. Pistons Live. I think we're still all kind of basking in the glow of that Jaden Ivey game winner the other day for the Pistons. Dropped one in Memphis a couple of days, trying to bounce back against the Pacers, who they played in the season opener. That was a great game right down to the wire. Sobush gives, Vigors runs. Are you interested to see, John, that Gabriel Richard down by 3 scores coming up on the halfway mark of the third? It's been run heavy on this drive.
I was just going to make that comment too, Evan. You don't have a lot of, time. You got to get some quick scores here. So I would have thought they'd have been throwing it around a little bit.
It seems to me that was the attack plan at halftime. We're going to reestablish our identity, but score is the score, and sometimes you got to adjust.
Well, and especially when they score on the first drive so quickly, you gotta answer. And
they're on the ground again. This is Vigors. It's another decent run. 3rd down short, but that clock is moving. We're halfway through the third quarter now.
And 4 straight runs. You're gonna have to spread them out. You're gonna have to throw the ball.
Do you think they're a little gun-shy to throw it as much in this second half because in the first half they threw an interception, and after the first drive they weren't having much success?
Yes, but they have a prolific passing game. They're used to throwing the ball. They had guys open. I think they were a little wide on some of these. There were a few fastballs that the catcher had to get in the dirt and stop. But
it's another run for Vigors. That's right near the line to gain. Zucker made the tackle for Beal City.
When you have Lesko out there, and you have Calhoun, and they have talent.
The initial spot is he's short. They will bring in the chains. Just short by that much. What's your play call here?
I'd do a quarterback sneak.
Okay.
I'd spread them out. They're used to going twins to both sides. Spread them all out and do a quarterback sneak. I like Sobush's chances.
Sobush has run the ball really well today.
He has.
Guy who goes both ways, playing his final game at Gabriel Richard, but he's still got good things to do athletically for the Pioneers. Sobush, the quarterback of this football team, and the point guard on the Hoops team.
Did I see where he was an all-state point guard, too?
He's a pretty darn good one. There you go. John called for that, and it's a first down. Got just enough, and the drive continues.
Well, that's the shotgun version of the quarterback sneak, right? Yep. So that was good. Look, it's always a good move putting the ball in Sobush's hand. They got some push, lowered his shoulder. Nice job. Came out the other end.
So the drive continues here, John, for Gabriel Richard. But again, all runs on this drive coming up on 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. And you're down 3 touchdowns.
You're going to see a pass here.
Here you go. Sobush over the middle. There's Vigors. Oh, he slipped a tackle and he got more. First down, Chris Vigors. Gabriel made the tackle, and now I think this drive's going to move.
They did a slot to the field. Nice job by Sobush. Just a slant route. Delivered it with perfect timing. Had the ball low. Double slant. Came right across, settled in the open area, and picked up a nice play there.
Vigors has been active offensively and defensively for Gabriel Richard in this game. Play action again. Sobush rolling away, and he's brought down from behind. Wrapped up by Aaron Locke, who tipped a pass earlier. Now he's got a loss.
Locke's done a great job on that weak side. It was in the open end, just a little fake bootleg, and they could not get him blocked. Locke could not get blocked, and he really disrupted that play because they were open. He could have ran or passed had he not been able to tackle him. So hell of a play.
Locke could not get blocked. Did you try to do that, or are you just a modern day poet?
I'm just heating up now. Come on. Here we go.
He can rhyme. It's not a crime. Sobush running all the way. That's the same play how they got the first down on fourth down. And here it sets up a third down and shorter. Locke and Gabriel combined on the tackle. Again, considering time and score, are you surprised there isn't more pace to this drive?
Yeah, there needs to be a sense of urgency, look, if they can score here, and they got to hold them, and then they're going to have to pick it up for sure.
Already converted a fourth down on this drive, which has taken over 5 minutes. To run with Boosby, his first carry of the game, and he's not going to get it. Barely gained anything. Again, lock in on that tackle. He's been big on this drive. Boosby, normally the blocking back for Gabriel Richard. They call him Deuce, although his number is 22. Why not double Deuce? These are the questions that we just don't have time to get answered.
There's got to be a story there, Alex.
There's got to be a story.
Twins
They've already converted one fourth down on the drive, John. Where do they go here? Fourth down 5. Long throw. That's caught. That's a Gabriel Richard. First down and a lot more. Back to back. Fourth down conversions on this drive. Lesko tackled by Elias.
Twins, they lined up, spread the field, just a nice outcut. He looked to the near side, came back to the wide side. Great job by Lesko, faking outside, then cutting back inside. Picked up huge first down for him, keep this drive alive.
That's the man who caught the touchdown for Gabriel Richard. A 17-yard catch and run keeps the drive alive. Sobush to throw again. Given time again. To the end zone. Knocked away. Hoping for Lesko. But Block, who picked one off earlier, knocks this one away.
Those two have had a tremendous battle all game. Just a post cut. What Lesko could have done was maybe lean to the outside a little bit to give him a little more room. Block did a great job defending that play. Stayed on his inside shoulder and got his hand on it.
You talk about a two-way stud. True Block for Beal City. 15 total touchdowns on offense this year, and the interception already today. Sobush throwing. They're setting up a screen. Calhoun made that man miss. Joey Calhoun tackled inside the 5. Joey is battling here today, and he's slow to get up.
They did twins to both sides. This time they came back with that screen to Calhoun. Did a nice job setting that up. Great move at the end there, and huge pursuit.
Joey's a tough customer, going to Air Force next year, and he has put Gabriel Richard in good position, trying to get back on the board and get a little closer down the wire in the third. It's time for our Menards big money moment. In this moment, Owen McKinney's going to remember for the rest of his life. On a 4th down, going up to get it, leaping for a touchdown over Nick Sobush. Beal City hangs on here, John. That is your Menards big money moment and what could be the state title winner for Beal City.
Great individual effort. It was a semi-back shoulder, but he gave him room to go up with the ball, use his athleticism, and made a great play. Like you said, it'll remember for a lifetime.
Unfortunately, right now, they are still looking at Joey Calhoun. Outstanding two-way star for Gabriel Richard, who has been battling through an injury all throughout this game.
And this was probably his best drive. They finally got him on track a little bit, running the football and then making it great catch on the screen and taking it down inside the 5.
This year, the MHSAA is celebrating a century of sports. Be part of the celebration by visiting MHSAA.com, where you'll see exclusive content about the people, places, rivalries, and records that makes high school athletics in Michigan so memorable. It's a century of the MHSAA, and it's all on MHSAA.com. Calhoun's a warrior. Just caught that big catch and run, John, to set him up here. You can tell he is not 100%.
No. He was hurt earlier on that drive, you could tell.
Sobush on the run. Boosby trying to push him in. He won't get there. I wonder if they just try that play all over again.
Well, obviously it changes some thinking when you have Calhoun out, especially in the red zone here.
And again, time coming off the clock here. Pioneers on this drive for Gabriel Richard have held it for over 6 minutes. Beal City scored the last 29. Gabriel Richard on the doorstep. That clock very quickly is becoming the second opponent for Gabriel Richard.
Yep.
Power formation, 2nd and goal. Sobush running all the way, leaning in for a touchdown. Nick Sobush in the final high school football game he'll ever play has thrown for 1 and run for 1.
Nothing fancy, just a quarterback draw. Follows his right guard and center, cuts it back behind the center. Great effort to get in the end zone and break that plane. He's not going down without a fight.
Scoring plays are reviewed here, so they are looking at that. Already had a review on an interception earlier that stood for Gabriel Richard. Friendly reminder for you on the replay rules here today, tomorrow, throughout the entire weekend of the MHSAA football finals here at Ford Field. Scoring plays reviewed, turnovers or potential turnovers are reviewed, and each head coach also gets 1 challenge during regulation and 1 challenge during all overtime. If any head coach wants to request a challenge, they have to call timeout first. And if they win the challenge, they keep that challenge. On first look, John, did you see anything different than what was initially called on the field?
From our angle, it looked like he broke the plane on that last effort. Because all you have, it's an imaginary plane that runs up. All you have to do is break that.
So see the ball right there? It started coming out, so his body, his shoulder, John's leaning forward, but the ball is back, right? Yeah. Initially, anyway. It did look like on second attempt he got it over. And as always, there has to be indisputable video evidence. If I had $1 for every time I've heard that on a football broadcast, I would have several more dollars.
How many angles? Do they have more angles than we do?
After review, the call on the play stands. It's a touchdown.
Whatever angle they found, they just end up keeping the call, and now Gabriel Richard going to go for 2 here.
Right.
Sobush has been the bell cow in these situations for Gabriel Richard down deep. He's going to throw. Given time. Now he's rolling. And throwing incomplete. Active hands again for Beal City. They've knocked down a couple of passes today. Aaron Locke is doing his best to Kembe Mutombo today.
Locke has played one whale of a game. Here he is. Watch him get a hand on that. He has been so active, knocking balls down and being in passing lanes. And great afternoon, or morning really, here for Aaron Locke.
Gabriel Richard does get the touchdown, so they're back within a couple of scores. There's 47 seconds to go in the third quarter. We have seen them do a pop-up kick today, and we have also seen them kick it deep. Are you doing anything different here, special teams?
I think you're going to kick it down. These guys, you got to hold them. You got to pray for a turnover, which, that's, you're wishful thinking for them. But, yeah, they're up against it, and they're going to have to make something happen.
Sobush gets a break on the sidelines for now. He's accounted for both touchdowns for Gabriel Richard in this game. He's been playing with his twin brother Antonio all year long. Looks like Gabriel Richard is lining up for an onside kick. Let's see what you got, Ben Stroke. Line driver right at the up man, and that is no issues. Garrison Zucker, who's one of the wide receivers for Beal City, said, I got it.
Well, that's the problem is now they're at the 50-yard line, right? I mean,
sounds like from your perspective, you would have just kicked it deep there and taken your chances.
I don't know if I would have kicked it deep or I would have kicked it to the second or third line. I was not going to onside. You still got a quarter, I mean, things can happen. But when you give it to him on the 50, I mean, that's, especially with the way they've been playing, that's a tough draw.
Smith turns and gives. This is Drew Block with another solid run across that Lion logo. Stroke and Emalu wrapped him up, but not before another gain of 8. Talking about that great starting field position for Beal City. Last drive started in Gabriel Richard territory, and now this drive starting right at midfield.
Evan, and then they had at least one in the first half over the 50. So they've had tremendous field position, and you can't give a team like this that short field.
They don't have to snap it again in the third quarter, and it doesn't look like they're going to. Beal City here for the 10th time ever, but they've only won 2 state championships. Back in the day, their head coach Brad Gross won one in 1994, and now he's a quarter away from getting them back to the promised land. 2-touchdown lead in the ball for Beal City when we start the fourth quarter of the Division 8 title game right after this. This special presentation of the MHSAA Football Finals brought to you by Trinity Health. We see all of you, and by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. Off to the fourth quarter and our first out of 8 state championship games in a snowy Detroit at Ford Field, where luckily they have a roof. Evan, John, alongside Kara Lyles on the sidelines. Kara, you've got an injury update for us on what's going on with Joey Calhoun for Gabriel Richard.
Yeah, guys, it appears that he injured the outer portion of his right ankle. He has taken his cleat off, and there is ice on that right ankle, but he's sitting with his trainers, not sure he's going to make a return in this one. He appears to be in a lot of pain, but you guys, each and every one of his teammates has came over and given him some well wishes.
That is the absolute last thing you want to see.
He's such a warrior, and Coach called him a coach's dream. I mean, he's that kind of kid, and you go into the Air Force, we're in good hands. He's a quiet leader, quality person, and we wish him the best.
We start the fourth quarter. Beal City lead in the ball. Zucker on a stretch run to the left. Made that first man miss, and got another first down. Sobush and Boosby combining on the stop. I mean, this Beal City offense comes at you in waves. Zucker, McKinney, Block. I mean, they are all over the place. They can go to a whole bunch of guys.
That's it. When you got that kind of a balance, right? And they're hard, as we've said before, they're hard to defend because there's so multiple formations, the motions, the false pulls. You know, they're a very difficult team, and you can see why they're here all the time. They got a great program.
Right now they're in clock killing mode. Pitch to the right and block. Drew cutting it up. He's had some runs like that all day. He's found his way to the end zone. Good gain of 7 on first down.
They do such a good job with that toss sweep. You know, these kids have probably been running it since grade school because they grow up in that community running the plays and, you know, wanting to put the uniform on and they pull those guards and get him running downhill.
And that's what's so fantastic about specifically covering Division 6, Division 7, Division 8. These are tight-knit communities where everybody knows everybody, and you can really build that chemistry because you've been playing with these same guys since you were born.
And isn't that what high school football is supposed to be about, right? And Friday Night Lights and the whole dream.
Another stretch run to the left. Zucker didn't get a ton, but got enough for the first down. Vigors and Vlatka both on the tackle for Gabriel Richard. And the thing about playing for these teams in tight-knit communities is you got to play all the sports. Zucker, who just had the run for a first down, is about to go play basketball. Kyler Smith, the quarterback, was on that state championship baseball team last year. These guys don't get any time off.
Well, it's good because they don't wear out the same muscles. They play, you know what, they play and compete in a different sport. It keeps you fresh for your primary sport. I'm a big proponent of playing multiple sports.
Nice play that time. Block was wrapped up. Nice tackle by the freshman, Max Riney.
Here's that trap, that inside trap. Great pursuit there by Ronnie, number 9, freshman, coming off the edge there.
So this puts Beal City behind the chains. It's a team that's lived in second and medium, third and short all day. They have thrown for a touchdown, but you can count the amount of throws on one hand. Run to the right was Small. First time he's touched it in the second half, and he is gone. Austin Small, touchdown.
Again, just a toss sweep, but watch how many guys Beal City gets in front of the ball carrier. They do a great job of getting numbers and getting the edge and advantage against that defense, putting more blockers than there are tacklers out there. And great cut, stretched the field, and he just cut it back on everybody and got in the end zone.
29 yards to the house for Small. Earlier this year, he had a 92-yard touchdown. I guess you got to settle for 29 this time, Austin. Cal Martin's extra point, up and good. Beal City here for the 10th time ever, trying to win their 3rd ever state championship, and they are in the driver's seat. Those smiles have been getting a whole lot bigger. This is the site of the best weekend of the year for high school football in Michigan, Ford Field. This is so cool, John. Every single year, the tradition of the Lions play on Thursday, and then you got the high schoolers taking over Friday and Saturday. I'm sure so many of these guys were sitting at their houses, sitting in a hotel room yesterday, watching Amon-Ra and Jameer and Jaron make plays, and then they probably realized at some point, oh, wait, I'm going to be on that field making plays.
Well, to be able to play at Ford Field where the Lions play in the NFL, I mean, that's why you practice all those hours. That's why you go through double sessions. That's why you go through all the pain and suffering and sacrifice to get here. And, it's how many teams never get here in their whole career? I mean, and then you have a Beal City who's been here 10 times.
On the verge of their 3rd ever state championship. Beal City was here in 2021. Lost that state championship game. handful of guys were on the team back then in 2021. Brad Gross was the coach back then. Also won a state championship playing quarterback in 1994. In that 94 state championship, Coach Gross threw a touchdown to Wes Wilson. He's now coaching Wes's kid. Wyatt's on the team this year.
Doesn't it mean just a little more when you come back to your alma mater and coach your kid and coach your buddies' kids and your cousins and your nephews? I mean, that's it doesn't get any better than that.
And Coach Gross understands how special that is. We asked him, it's a little weird that, you're now coaching the sons of guys you played with. He goes, sometimes I go, yeah, it is kind of weird, but then I snap back into it and I'm coaching the game,
Yeah. It's that's one of the great beauties of sports, to be able to give back and have that tradition and history.
Boosby on the run. He tried to hurdle a guy, and he hurdled his way back to the 30. Nick Irvin on the tackle. Under 9 to go. Gabriel Richard on their last drive, which ended in a touchdown. Took a lot of time, John. And for anyone just flipping on this game, Coach Shea's team has been hurt by injuries today. Nick Sobush's twin brother, star two-way guy Antonio Sobush, we have not seen him play today, and he is not in pads on the sidelines. Joey Calhoun has left the game with an injury.
Well, that's been the loss of Antonio has hurt because they've been able to double Lesko and put a lot of pressure on him, and that's made it difficult.
Sobush needs all the pixie dust in the world. He gets it out to Stroke, who needs some more pixie dust, and he's shoved out of bounds by Zucker. That was a lot of running and throwing and catching for a loss.
Here it is. Trying to do an out and up. They got big pressure on him. Sobush doing a great job just buying time and getting out of there, getting rid of the football, but great job defensively by Zucker, keeping the receiver in front of him, getting him out of bounds. Very disciplined secondary and total defense for Beal City. They've shown tremendous poise all afternoon.
We're about to find out what they have on 3rd and 20. It's a long throw to Lesko. Incomplete. He nearly caught that thing with one hand.
He's been so impressive all day, and they've had a great battle with him in block. Again, just doing a go route, and he put the ball in a great spot, but wasn't quite able to hold on to it. Great effort.
I can't believe he almost caught that ball.
Great concentration. I mean, that was a big time effort.
4th and 20. The punter is Lesko, who, as you may imagine, was taking his time getting back to the huddle after that run. He is back deep to punt. Lefty kick. Pretty good one. Oh, it checks up. That works on the golf course. That doesn't work on the football field. It's going to be strong starting field position again for Beal City. 8 minutes to go. Beal City Aggies on the verge of adding another state championship trophy to the case. It's time now for our player of the game, brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. In basketball, when you get a double-double or triple-double, they say you're a stat sheet stuffer. Today, Drew Block was a stat sheet stuffer.
Well, we showed these highlights here. Here's our defensive highlight. But he's had to go against Lesko the whole game. And he's done it on both sides of the ball, right? Offensively, you've seen these highlights. But going up and down against Lesko, it's been a battle, a chicken fighting the whole game. I mean, that kid has played one whale of a game and so deserving of this award.
Beal City team has been a well-oiled machine ever since the first Gabriel Richard drive. For anyone just flipping on this game, I think they'd be surprised to learn that Gabriel Richard on their first drive scored on 4 plays and led 8-0. It's been a totally different game ever since.
And they made it look easy, but these guys haven't been there, the history, tradition. They didn't blink or flinch. They just got back and played their game.
Smith on the give. There's Drew Block up to the 40-yard line. Eric Boosby made the tackle. You know, you get to this point, right, of a state championship game in Beal City in the driver's seat. You celebrate them and Coach Gross about to win another state championship, but you also think about the other side. Gabriel Richard, that was going for their first ever state championship today. Remarkable job by Coach Mark Shea in his first year. This is not going to end the way they would have liked, but it does not take away what has truly been a historic season for that school, that team, and all of those players and coaches.
Absolutely. To come in June and put this together and get here is nothing short of remarkable. And he's got a program. He's got depth. They have a good balance. They're going to lose some key guys, but they have some young guys who've been here and get this experience, which will carry over for next year. And no, they both teams, when you get to this point, there's no losers. There's one on the scoreboard, but the fact that they could do this with a first-year coach is something that you don't see that happen very often.
3rd down 2 for Beal City. Trying to keep those chains moving and that clock moving. Smith pitch. Block run. 1st down, Drew Block. Another great run for the senior. His last ever game at Beal City is about to be a game he'll remember until he's old and gray.
Well, no one told him he was the MVP already, right? He's just putting a cherry on top of the sundae. Great move. They've ran that toss sweep the whole day. Watch him deliver a blow here on the sideline, lowers his shoulder like all great running backs do. What a whale of a game on both sides for Drew Block.
Came into the day with over 100 carries, 800 yards, 12 touchdowns. He had the game-winning TD when Beal City went up to Iron Mountain and won in the regional, and I think that's a fascinating game to focus on for Beal City. Block on the run again, gains a couple. So in that game, John, Iron Mountain at home is up 7-0, and they have the ball 1st and goal at Gabriel Richard, deep in Beal City territory, but Beal City's defense holds them. Iron Mountain does not get a point at the end of that first half. Beal City rips off 14 points in the second half and goes on to win. That game was really indicative of this group the whole season.
Well, and think about it. They take the 6-hour bus ride, right, which is not easy, right? They're up there. It's an away game because they're up in the Upper Dome?
Yep.
And so for them to do that and then come back and beat Fowler the next week and then put the finishing touches today, that's a hell of a season.
Zucker on the run. Another strong gain for Garrison Zucker. Tackle made by Boosby and Maritho. 3rd down coming up. You know, you look at this Beal City group, too. Yes, they're going to lose guys like McKinney and Block, but Zucker's coming back. Kyler Smith coming back, returning quarterback. Kind of feels like this was the year to get him, and Beal City's about to be the state champion again.
Well, they got a program, right? And they reload, and these kids know as Coach mentioned to us when we talked to them, there's an expectation that they're going to get here. And when you start with a quarterback, and he's a kid who's going to win a state championship as a sophomore, and then in baseball, so he's been there and he knows what it takes to win.
Nice job by that defensive line for Gabriel Richard, led by Emmylou in the middle, to stop him short of a 1st down.
Well, they're playing for pride now, and you can tell there's no quitting these kids. They're happy to be here. They're fighters, and they're going to go down swinging.
It's a group that's been playing together, they told us, since basically in diapers. This may be the greatest athletic class in the history of Riverview Gabriel Richard. Today won't feel great, but in a week, a month, few months, they'll look back on everything this year and smile. Give Block. 1st down, Beal City. And that clock will keep on moving under 4 minutes to go.
Well, we might see them again in basketball, right?
Yep.
They were there in the semis last year. They got a lot of kids who are going to play. They know what it's like. And you know, you'd love to see them get a championship before they finish out their career.
Yeah, last year, unfortunately for Gabriel Richard, they lost on a buzzer beater in the Division III semis at the Breslin Center. I think those guys are about to trade their cleats for sneakers and have a lot of motivation once they hit the hardwood.
Yep.
First ever trip to the state title game this year for Gabriel Richard. Most wins in a season in program history.
Timeout, Beal City. That's the first timeout.
But today they just ran into a Beal City buzzsaw, about to be the third ever state championship for the Aggies from Beal City.
That'll be a great bus ride home, right? I mean, to bring it back, I'm sure the whole city will be there when they pull into town, and you know, it's be memories for a lifetime.
By the way, our next game, Division IV, should be an absolutely outstanding game. We know someone's going to win their first ever state championship later on today. The Vikings from Niles, up from Michiana. You can throw a rock to Notre Dame's campus from Niles against the Martians of Goodrich, who are here for the second time in the last 3 years. Coach Allward's team trying to knock off Niles and win the first state championship in school history. That's the cool thing, too. We were talking about the various areas of the state. For a Division IV championship, you have Michiana against the greater Flit area. That should be a very fun game to watch.
Yep. Yeah, as you mentioned, yeah, Niles right there on the border, right down there by Fighting Irish country.
When you drive to Chicago, the last exit you see is the one for Niles. I think a few folks watching and listening are speaking from personal experience when they remember that Niles exit. Smith turns. Beal City getting somebody else a new carry into the game. Good to see Neil Finnerty, the senior, get a carry in the state championship game. Boosby makes the tackle.
You love to see that, don't you? You know, coaches getting the seniors in, giving them a chance to play at Ford Field in the state championship. That's great.
Neil Finnerty, big 32, senior, 5'8", 165. I'd have to imagine Neil's a pretty good athlete, but there's no shame being behind guys like McKinney and Block and Zucker. These are the type of runs that he'll remember the rest of his life.
I got a feeling he's going to get the football here this time, too.
Finnerty with the rock. Can Neil get to the end zone? Oh, you bet he can!
Look at all his teammates. I mean, they're so happy for him. That's so great. That's good for them. The old toss sweep. They got the guard in front of him. Look at him. He sets it up inside, reads his blocks, gets to the outside, uses his speed.
He'll remember that forever.
It never gets old. Never gets old.
That is what this weekend is about in one play.
All his teammates congratulating, so happy for him. That's beautiful.
And I think my favorite thing about that run is it was a 5-6 yard touchdown run. In 10 years, he's going to go, it was a 60-yard run. I broke 7 tackles. I ran all over the field.
Reversed my field.
It was unbelievable. Got sick. Guys were blocking all over the place. It was an incredible run.
Hey, the older you get, the better you get. No question.
Neil Finnerty, in the last high school game he'll ever play, on his last ever run maybe, gets this touchdown.
Neil did a nice job, too, where he hesitated, set it up, and then got outside. He's been waiting for this moment a long time.
5'8", 165-pound senior just put the cherry on top of a state championship Sunday for Niles, for Beal City. Beal City, remember, down in this game, 8-0 early on. Gabriel Richard goes right down the field and scores. What does it say about this group that they kind of get punched in the face early and then they bounce right back?
It says they're a confident bunch, Evan. They were not going to be deterred. Okay, you drew first blood, and they didn't change their game plan. They made adjustments. They made some great halftime or first half adjustments and halftime adjustments. They were fortunate with the penalties. They have had some great field position, and they capitalized on that field position.
Gabriel Richard about to get one final drive. First, they got to return it. This is Vigors, who's made some strong plays in the second half. Chris has got some room. Oh, he just lowered the shoulder, and a powerful run that is stopped just shy of the 40-yard line. Part of the story here today is for Riverview Gabriel Richard. They were playing with an arm behind their back. Joey Calhoun injured in the third quarter. Kara told us he's out for the game. Nick Sobush, the quarterback, his twin brother Antonio has not played all day. Unfortunately, John, I think a large part of this game for the Gabriel Richard coaching staff is going to be what if everybody was healthy.
Yeah. That, and you can't. You don't have the depth at this level, right? So you lose key guys like that, it makes it very difficult.
Vigors lowers that shoulder again. Beal City cycling through the roster to get some tackles here. Joey Federico, big 55, one of the men in there helping to make the tackle. This is so cool too, John, because, you know, the game's in hand. But for these guys on the field, this may as well be snap one. It's 0-0 for all these guys on the field right now, getting a shot to play in the state championship game.
And you remember it, like you said, the rest of your lifetime, but your family and your brothers and your sisters and your cousins, yeah.
Another run for Gabriel Richard. Vigors tackled in the middle of the field. And I also know something, too. They are going to go back, watch this broadcast, and want to make sure everyone gets called out for a tackle. So we promise for the final couple of snaps here, we're going to say as many names as we possibly can. Look at big Nick Sobush, 52, right in the middle of that D. Eric Elias, 5, has been making plays today, too. Third down snap for Gabriel Richard. Vigors will run it. He'll get a first down. Braxton Bukovic, 6. One of the men there making the tackle along with Nick Sobush. Gabriel Richard's going to snap it one more time. A season they will remember forever at Riverview Gabriel Richard. Most wins ever. First ever trip to the state championship. And a group of guys who will be celebrated for a long time. But today, that group in blue and white, the Aggies of Beal City, were just a little bit too much. Cal Frump, the freshman quarterback, gives it to Vigors, who runs for a first down. Zucker made the tackle for Beal City. And if it didn't set in before that play, it's setting in now. It's time to party in Beal City. Your Aggies, for the third time ever, are state champs. That man in the middle, Brad Gross, of all the fine men and women in that community, I don't think it means more to anyone but him. Won a state title as the coach, as the quarterback in '94. Now he gets the chance as a coach to watch this group win.
There's not a lot of guys walking around who said that they've done that.
Yeah.
That is a very special feat. And to do it with your family and your son and your nephews and your guys you played with when you won the state championship, that's good for him. That's a great accomplishment. Our hats off to Beal City and Coach Gross and his team.
Kara on the field standing by with Drew Block for Beal City.
Drew, you are a state champion. What is going through your mind right now?
I mean, I knew we could do it. I mean, I'm just so proud of each and every one of these guys. They all worked so hard all season long, and I think we deserve it a lot.
The smile says it all, but what a game for you on both sides of the football. Offensively, 2 touchdowns, defensively, an interception. Not to mention you went up against Derek Lesko all game long. What was working for you on both sides of the ball?
I don't know. That guy's pretty good, though, not going to lie. But after that first drive, I kind of had to lock in, you know. He scored on me. Great catch, great ball. But I just had to focus up and then just run the ball hard.
state champion in your senior year in front of what seems like your entire community. One word to describe what you're feeling right now.
Happy.
Drew, thank you so much. Congratulations. You are a state champion. Drew Block of Beal City, your very new Division 8 state champions, guys.
Kara, that is state champion level hair from Drew Block, and now he's a state champion. Beal City just won their third ever state title, 43-14 over Riverview Gabriel Richard. Coming up, a darn good D4 final, Niles and Goodrich. You're not going to want to miss it. Kara, Rob Rubik, and I am back in less than 30 minutes. Congratulations to Beal City state champs again.